One thing I'm not is an economist. So, this is just my interpretation of what we might see in the marketplace as we go into 2020. Some of the things that are happening right now, some of the factors that are causing them, and then what some of the headlines might be as we move through the year, and then ultimately just to share with you guys those thoughts so that if you're working with clients, if you're working with buyers or sellers, or where you are in our industry, hopefully these 20 minutes you get just a few takeaways. I think there's going to be a number of headlines, but 3 or 4 prominent ones in the lending side of our business, right? Number one, rates and affordability. I think is number one. It's kind of the talk of the town right now, and we'll dive into that here in a little bit about what we have currently. What are some of the reasons for what's going on, and then maybe where we look for the rest of the year and things to think about. Loan programs, are things coming out? Where do loan programs stand these days? Kind of pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, some of the things that are happening in that space. Closings, the closing experience of our clients out there. What is that going to look like this year? And then lastly, appraisals. Certainly a part of our marketplace that's been challenging these last few years, and kind of what are some things we might see in the world of appraisals this coming year. 2021 was kind of a steady year when it came to interest rates. It kind of dropped mostly, went down mostly through the year. But I think 22, we're just going to see some volatility. So if you think about our homeowners out there, prospective homeowners out there that are thinking about this year, you got 2 bookends of the spectrums, right? You've got rates could drop and this is speaking from a buyer's view, rates could drop and values could drop. That's a really great scenario for a buyer this year. But you could also have the other side of that bookend where rates could rise and pricing, housing pricing could rise, and you couple that with inflation and wages not kind of growing quite as much. You really talk about some potential affordability challenges as we move through the year. What's out there for people to help buy houses? We certainly saw a lot of contraction when it came to home programs as the pandemic started. There's a lot of worry there about what this was going to really look like, and kind of all the niche programs or different programs to help people buy homes kind of contracted. So I think we're going to see those open up again a bit as we go. We're already starting to see that. And then lastly, community lending loans, state-sponsored bond program loans or DPA, down payment assistance loans. Great tools for a lot of the marketplace to enter the market and really get some fantastic financing options through education and down payment assistance. That I think is sorely needed out there in our communities as well too. So starting to really see those kind of come in, and starting in March, we're going to get findings through the approval engines, desktop underwriters, so on and so forth, that will possibly tell us that a home is eligible for what's called a desktop appraisal. It's going to be specifically on purchase business. It's going to be loans for 90% or less loan to value, so a little bit of equity in the purchase transaction. And it'll be for single family, owner occupied, kind of more of your traditional buyer. But what we're going to start seeing potentially is a finding that comes back that says that that property and that transaction is eligible for a desktop appraisal. I think, we're going to start seeing CFH, closing from home in our industry in 2022 and becoming wider spread as we continue through the years, right? The technology is there. I think the consumer experience and the consumer demand is possibly there as well too. RON legislation. It is remote online notaries for closings. And so if you think about states that are attorney-led closing states, my interpretation is an attorney would still be doing that closing. And if you think it's states that are title states, you're using an online notary to actually conduct the transaction, and it's all digital, all online. And so the closing, so to speak, could really be from home. So guys, I've kind of rambled now for a bit. Hopefully that information was helpful and beneficial to yourselves and your marketplace. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend, everyone.